All right, let's get to some questions here. Stephen, thank you very much for joining us. What's a question you'd like to ask Peter Dutton?
Thanks, Peter. Thanks, Paul. It's great to see you, like behind the scenes. I've seen it on TV, but it's good to see.
Yes, I'm shorter and fatter in real life. I understand. I get it. I get what you're saying.
No. Look at me.
Body double. Good stuff. What's your question?
Peter, look, to me, this mob are hopeless. Like, I'm first cab off the rank, so dead set, they're useless. And people out here are really struggling. So I really want to see you get stuck into it. Everything they say, I want you to rebuff it. I want you to get right into their grill and tell them that they're useless, and also tell people that they're useless. But the question I got really is early voting is also coming up. Do you have any policies in place you can tell us before the early voting starts, so we can, get some sort of plans happening?
Certainly we do. And I'll go through a couple of those. We've obviously got some that we're about to announce as well, and they'll be out before people turn up to vote. But a couple of important areas. I think housing is one of the biggest issues confronting our country, and I want young people to believe again that they can own a home. The government's brought in about 1 million people over the last 2 years, and all of those migrants, of course, want housing for their families as well. But the trouble is, for a lot of young Australians, they've been locked out of housing. People find it hard to find rental accommodation, and not just younger Australians, but older Australians as well. So how can we provide support to them? We've said that we need to build more houses. So if we can put $5 billion, which is the pledge that we've made, into councils and into infrastructure to try and get the sewerage and the water built so that the next phase of, or the next block of land can be bought on, that creates about 500,000 new homes. We've said for 2 years that we want to ban foreign residents from buying Australian homes, and that will allow young Australians to get ahead. And by doing all of that, by reducing the migration program, which is what we've pledged to do, by 25%, all of that creates about 40,000 homes in the first year and 100,000 homes over 5 years. So that will bring on 600,000 homes, which will be available to Australians. But if the government keeps bringing people in at the rate that they have, which is, again, the highest migration intake in our country's history. In fact, the last 2 years has been 70% higher than any 2-year period in our country's history. And you wonder why there's a housing crisis. And we need to have a managed migration program, but one that works for our country and one that serves our best interests. And I'm just not going to tolerate a situation where young Australians are locked out of housing. And the Prime Minister will bring in about, depending on whether you believe the figures, but I think it's going to nudge over 2 million, bring in 2 million people over 5 years, which is a population bigger than the size of Adelaide, and they've pulled money out of infrastructure. So it's not just housing, it's other infrastructure, medical, hospitals, it's schooling, it's the fact that people are sitting in gridlock now on their way to work and on their way home in the afternoon. And one of the, I think, the most egregious things, and I don't think the Prime Minister's been called out for this, but it was never mentioned before the last election, this Big Australia policy that the government's now delivered.